Hey guys, maybe you've heard talk before about two potential timelines for humanity, a lower and a higher one. And yes, I believe that there are infinite timelines, infinite possibilities, infinite potentials that could manifest. But it's often spoken about these two very distinctive timelines. And what I want to talk to you today about are some tips to be on the higher timeline. And this is inspired by a dream that I had recently, which felt incredibly prophetic, potentially in a bit of a negative way, but it gave me a very powerful reminder and it has inspired this message. So just a little bit of a pre-thing I want to say, I can't even remember the preface, there you go, is that I really do not believe in any type of we need to get on a higher timeline, we need to avoid the bad timeline, like any kind of subtle fear dynamics around that. Nah, don't believe in that. Absolutely don't believe in it. I'm just mentioning the two timelines in the context of this video because what I'm about to share is very helpful for you to go deeper on your path and for you to connect more to yourself and for you to expand in your spiritual journey. So that's really the lens. So the two timelines that are often contrasted against each other are the inorganic timeline, a timeline where humans became incredibly addicted to technology, lost connection with themselves and their emotions. They suppressed the emotional energy that they were meant to transform and transmute, and they destroyed the earth, and you get the gist. And then the organic timeline is where humanity do rise in their divine template and do overcome their ego, their pain, this sense or the illusion of separation, and they come into harmony with their true divine nature. And this is referred to as the organic timeline. So when I was actually in the darkness room a couple of years ago, one of the nights, it was about 7 or 8 nights in, I was in there for 10 days. And when we are physically looking through the eyes that we have in the current point of view, like Kelly as a being, living the life Kelly lives, is a localized point of view. It's a reference point, right, that grounds me into this physical moment in time and space. But because I was in the darkness room and I had very little reference in this point in time and space, I started to journey. And this particular night, I felt like I went to multiple realms, multiple timelines, and I was seeing things, previewing things. And I did experience what I feel was that negative timeline that exists as a potential that humanity could head for, that many beings who are supporting Earth want humanity to avoid. And I do believe that that in this present moment, we're being given the opportunity to not head for that timeline. But in that timeline, the beings that I met were incredibly decrepit and it was kind of icky. They lived underground. Earth was unrecognizable. And I did really feel that was that timeline, and I was being given this sense of it. Anyways, so my dream, I'll tell you a little bit about the dream, and then I want to tell you the tips that I have and the ways that we can bring ourselves into this higher timeline. And it has a lot to do with our relationship with technology. Okay, so me and my friends were in a technological site in the desert, and it was in this big valley somewhere in the desert, and everyone was obsessed and completely enamored with this little technology. This technology was like a headphone style thing, and it inputted frequency tones and created an experience in you. And everyone was kind of obsessed by it. And I started to feel a bit off though. I started to feel a bit worried. And then one of my other friends, she was like, Kelly, like, I really need to tell you this. And she had basically discovered that we were being programmed to become slaves and the technology wasn't benevolent and that we needed to watch out. And she had this map that she had drawn of events that had happened to us where we had come into agreement with this technological enslavement timeline. And she had tracked all the events and the moments where we had willingly given over our free will. And the thing is we didn't recognize it at the moment, but we recognized, we could see it in hindsight, we could see the map and we could see how we had basically been signing over our free will and our energy towards this timeline. Anyway, after she was done saying that, I looked around and all my friends had become zombie-like creatures, and they were going around completely asleep and they were fulfilling orders. There was this group of beings who were bossing us around, and basically we'd become the slaves for them. And they were these weird, freaky, monkey-like yolks. And I was like, holy shit, like we became slaves because we were so enamored by technology. Anyway, I played along for a bit just so I could find a moment to escape, and I found the moment to escape. And when I made a break for it, a couple of my friends came with me, so clearly they were also playing and pretending to be asleep so we could find the opportune moment. And we had to run through this mountainous desert area. It was pretty barren, and there was a river. The other side of the river were these trees, was this green area. It was so beautiful. And I knew that once we crossed that river, we would be free. And we had originally been dropped off to this site by a ship. And I knew that the ship might not be there to pick us back up, but it didn't matter if we got picked back up or not from our mission. What mattered was that we crossed the river. So eventually we got free. These beings were chasing us, but we got free. So this dream felt like a very prophetic dream. Sometimes I have dreams where I know that I am tuning into something in the collective undercurrent, and it's not a personal dream. And this was very much a collective dream, and it's brought with me a lot of contemplation. And there's a couple of things I want to share with you today. And this is what it really reminded me of is what I am advocating for, what I really care about, and what I feel is important for the spiritual path in this modern day and this modern age. Okay, so what I feel we can all take from this is that we are here to be connected to our own true nature. And it's really easy to become enamored and obsessed and believe that technology is absolutely everything. But it's important to remember that even if we are having such a positive experience of technology, that it's actually just reflecting to us our own powers and our own magic and our own brightness. And yeah, don't get obsessed with technology. Don't become so obsessed with technology that you lose connection to yourself. So one of the things that I'm really advocating for is this rehabilitation of our sensitivity and moving away from a reality where we're heavily stimulated, heavily programmed. The more sensitive we become, the more we can attune to these subtler realms of our spiritual nature, and that's going to take us to our depths. One thing that is alarming for me with humanity when we're becoming increasingly addicted to technology, when we're becoming highly stimulated and desensitized, is that we are losing the capacity to go deep. We're losing the capacity to attune to these subtle realms of ourselves. And that is something that I really recognize as an important part of the spiritual path, is going beyond the highly engaging, highly stimulating Maya of this creation that's so loud and so noisy and so all-encompassing and trying to pull us in, to letting go and seeing through that illusion and connecting in with our own true depths. So it's important that we acknowledge the potential for technology because of the stimulation that it offers us and the dopamine and the brain chemicals that are activated. It's important that we acknowledge the potential for it to become heavily addictive. And as a result, through this addiction, we have more connection to the thing that's giving us the satisfying thing in our addictive way. And we lose connection from ourselves. We lose capacity to be present with our own internal depths and our own nature. So the thing that I really advocate for is this rehabilitation of your sensitivity. Don't live such a stimulated life, and do everything in your power to foster your connection to yourself, directly to yourself, not through technology, not through anything but your own direct presence with yourself. So these are the things that I think is really important to work with and reclaim and be empowered around. Number one is watch your addiction to technology. And if you are addicted, be honest, be real, and make a change. Okay, that's number one. Number two is look at the power of your attention, the power of your awareness, and your capacity to consciously direct your awareness, consciously attune with your awareness, and be aware that constant input and technological stimulation can make that faculty kind of weak. And this is your superpower, and you really need to cultivate it. And cultivating it is going to take you deeper. And not only that, it's going to support you to focus on bringing into your life the things that you really want and the things that fulfill you. So there's your technological addiction, the quality of your focus, your attention, your awareness. And the next one is your connection to self and being really present with yourself. Can you be present with yourself? Can you be dropped in with yourself? And then the third one is the really noticing stimulation and how it feels to be overstimulated, and how much space you need to create for non-stimulation to strengthen your sensitivity, to rehabilitate the sensitivity, and to foster your unique connection with yourself. We are here to be imprinted with the information of our soul, with our higher self, with our divine information. And that is imprinting us coming down from here. And when we're taking in too much from here, we are densifying our vessel and we are drowning out this signal. And I really feel this is why I do this work. This is what I recognize is here to liberate you, is here to transform you, is the more space you receive to be imprinted by your own divine nature, by your own soul. And for this connection, not this connection. I mean, this connection between us is great, but I mean this connection as in what the world is sending you, what technology is sending you. And of course, watch things like this video where you're very consciously saying, yes, that I am receiving and attuning benefit from my soul because I'm called to learn from this person. But like, there's other things that aren't benefiting you online, and you have to be honest and you have to be real about that. Okay. So, and I really believe that the more we rehabilitate our sensitivity, the more we let go of addiction to technology and enamorment with technology, the more space we cultivate to be present with ourselves and to work through our emotions, the more we are putting our vote for this organic timeline. And the more we are being aware of the tendencies that we have now, where we are a bit addicted to technology, the more we can course correct in this moment, as these things potentially aren't a problem right now, but compounded over 5 more years, 10 more years, where are you going to be at, right? So that's something to be aware of, because there's so much wanting to come through for you with your divine nature, with your calling. And the frequency of this is so refined and so pure, and it isn't going to hassle you super hard. Like if you're choosing to be plugged into something else, it's just not going to become available for you. And I truly believe that this is one of the biggest barriers to growth, to progression, to spiritual evolution, is our relationship to technology. And we have to make adjustments and put our vote, our energies behind the higher timeline that we want to rise on, that we want to experience, that we want to make manifest and make possible. Say yes on every single level, and start saying no to the subtle ways that you were plugged into that inorganic timeline and you are putting your vibrational vote towards it. Okay, guys, so I would love to hear from you all in the comments. Is there something I shared today that really stood out to you? Is there something here that really hit home for you? Is there an adjustment that you want to make after you've heard what I am saying? What is there that you want to shift in the way your energy is focused so that you can call in the collective timeline that you really want to be on, that you really want to experience, so that the impact of your vibration makes a difference now for where we're headed in 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Okay, guys, I love you all so much, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, this is one of the videos from the Paradigm Shift series, and each one of these series, there's a playlist on my profile. Each one of these videos is designed to give you an energetic calibration. You can tune in with me daily, and if you have just found me now, welcome. You can start from the beginning. You can go through it intuitively. You can start watching from here on outwards and catch up in your own time, or at a later point in your life, like in another month or something, you want to go through the energetic journey, you can go through it again. Anyone who watches this all can go through it at any other time again. Okay, so welcome to my channel, and I'm so excited that you're here, and I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm enjoying it. And it is here to be an energetic environment to calibrate you to the next phase of your ascension and towards your leadership as you are stepping up into a greater expression of your soul and a greater expression of your mission. Goodbye, guys.